So today we are going to continue reading chapter 2 from Nightjon, and we're going to be learning a little bit more about Sarni as a character. Eddie, please read us today's aims.
Students will be able to make inferences about character personality.
Thank you. Eddie, I need you to be sitting up straight and facing forward. So we are going to use a T-chart to make these inferences. So I need everybody to clear off their desk, except for one piece of paper and a pencil. Emma, that's a demerit. You need to be clearing off your desk and making your T-chart.
Yeah, I was.
Emma, that's a demerit. I need you making your T-chart. So Eddie is almost with us. And Claire's writing her T-chart down. Emma has it. And Kaya is really organized, and this is great. This will help us later on when we refer back to this to make our essays. All right, so we are going to read out loud. If you remember where we left off, Sarni had just met Nightjon. And Nightjon is a new slave who just came to the plantation. So I need everybody to take out their books and turn to page 33. And when you're finished, I need you to track me. I have Emma's eyes, Claire's with me, Kay is ready to go. Eddie, track me. So we're going to begin at the bottom of page 33, at the second to last paragraph, with I'll trade. I'll trade, he whispered. I'll trade something for a lip of tobacco. Emma.
I thought, what you got to trade? You come in naked as the day you was born, come in bad with whip marks all up and down your back, not even a set of clothes or canvas pants, and you're ready to go to trading? I didn't say it, but I thought it, and he liked to read my thoughts. What I got to trade for a lip of tobacco is letters. I knows letters. I'll trade A, B, and C for a lip of chew. He laughed again.
And there I was, with the tobacco in my dress. He has tobacco in his dress?
Eddie, that's
Is that a guy with tobacco in his dress?
I need you to be reading. Continue.
Tobacco in my dress, and he said that, and I didn't know what letters was, nor what they meant, but I thought it might be something I wanted to know, to learn. So Mammy, she was sleeping. Her breath moved in and out, and I wiggled out the pile of young ones, and moved to the dark corner, and set my own self next to it. What's a letter?
Eyes on me. I have Emma's eyes, Eddie's eyes, Kaya's eyes. I have everybody's eyes. All right, so based on what we just read, we're going to make an inference about Sarni. So I want you to think about how Sarni reacts when Nightjon says, I'll give you letters. What's her reaction? How does she feel about this? What's she thinking about these letters? Take a few seconds, look back. Eddie, I need you to be sitting up straight and facing forward. Kaya, how is Sarni feeling about these letters?
It says that she doesn't know what letters was, but that maybe she wanted to know.
Okay. So, under things Sarni says and does, I'm going to write, Sarni wants to learn letters. So I need you to write this down too. Eddie, that's a demerit. I need you to be sitting up and facing forward. Sarni wants to know letters. And when you're finished, track me. Hands down. So I'm going to make an inference about the fact that Sarni wants to know letters. And we're going to do a little modeling. So you're going to listen to what I think about when I go and make an inference. And you'll be doing this a little bit on your own. Eddie, I need your eyes.
Can I turn around in my chair?
Eddie, that's a demerit. I need you to be silent and tracking me. So we're going to go inside Ms. Hirschbeck's brain and see what happens when she makes an inference. All right, so I know Sarni wants to know letters. So what does this tell me about Sarni? Well, I know Sarni is 10 years old, and usually by the time you're 10, you know what a letter is. You know your ABCs. So that could tell me that Sarni's not especially bright. But, oh wait, Sarni's a slave. And slaves don't know how to read. They're not taught how to read. In fact, they can't read because they'll get in trouble. But Sarni still wants to know what letters are. So I don't think it's that she's not bright. I think she's just really curious. So I'm going to write this in character inference. This is telling me something about Sarni's personality. It's telling me she's curious. So I'm going to write this down. So I need everybody to write down curious under character inference. I need that's a demerit. I need your hands now. Okay, so we have our first inference. So we're going to continue, and you're going to have a chance to make your own inferences after we read this next passage. And I'm going to give you guys a hint. The next character we're going to be making our inference about is Mammy. So as we continue to read, pay careful attention to what Mammy is saying and doing. So if you remember, we left off at the middle of page 34. Eddie stopped reading at, what's the letter? So we're at the bottom of page 34. And just to be clear, we're going to take questions after you make your inference. So for now, hold all questions. Even if you're unclear about something, we'll get it cleared up later on. All right, bottom of page 34. He smiled. You sound like you've got tobacco. Emma, pick up.
Not until I know what a letter is. Why? It's reading. You learn the letters first, and then when you know them, you string them together into words. I'll trade you 3 letters for a lipful.
Kaya.
I knew about reading. It was something that the people in the White House did for paper. They could read words on paper, but we weren't allowed to be reading.
Kaya, can you just stand up and spit your gum out? And that's a demerit. And you just stand up and spit your gum out. Start that paragraph over, Kaya. I knew about reading.
I knew about reading. It was something that the people in the White House did from paper. They could read words on paper, but we weren't allowed to be reading. We weren't allowed to understand or read anything, but once I saw some funny lines on the side of the feed sack. It said, 100 olds. So
100 pounds. LBS is an abbreviation for pounds. Okay, so in Sarni's world, who can read and who can't? Raise your hand if you have an answer. Who can read and who can't? Emma.
I think that Sarni can't read. And, well, so there's the guy who's coming, and he's a slave too, and I think he might know how to read, but I know Sarni can't read, and all the people in that big house can read it because Sarni's a slave, and they're not.
Good. Emma, that's a good point. Nightjohn knows how to read, right? And
Yeah.
he's a slave.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, slaves don't know how to read. This is why Nightjohn is special. This is why he's such an interesting character. So we want to see what he has to teach Sarni. But good. The people in the White House, the slave owners, can read. Sarni, the slave, and the other slaves, except for Nightjohn, can't read. So that's an important distinction. Eddie, can you please pick up at, I wrote them down in the dirt.
I wrote them down in the dirt with a stick, and Mammy gave me a smack on the back of the head that like to drove me into the ground. Don't you take to writing, she said. I wasn't doing it. I was just copying something I saw in a feed sack.
Don't. They catch you doing that, and they'll think you're learning to read. You learn to read, and they'll whip you till your skin hangs like torn rags. Or cut your thumb off. Pause. I need eyes on me. Who's this they? Eddie, who is they?